Hey everyone, and welcome back to the WoW News, where, outside of there being street violence outside my office, it's been a fairly quiet week. Albeit one that's sped up towards the end, and a week that's very much the calm before the storm. Because I think we all know what next week is going to be. It is going to be data mining and fun with new content and lore reveals, of course, with a 9.1 PTR release. Now I'm going to level with you, I could not be bothered to do self-promo today. The links are in the description, give them a click, and with that said, let's go. Big moves, my friends. Venary reputation is account-wide, so hooray, I guess. This is, I think, a good change overall, considering what Venary rep actually is. And that really it's just character upgrades that, well, for some people feel mandatory. Though, of course, it's a bit of a case of too little too late, isn't it? Because, well, Venary's currency, Stygia, seemingly is going to be abandoned in patch 9.1 anyway. So to be honest with you, this really won't affect most people given how late it is, and how, of course, those Torghast upgrades were account-wide anyway. But I guess this is a welcome enough change for those of you who, right now in Season 1, want to upgrade your alt, conduits, and sockets. Not that that's a thrill. So I doubt that this change is going to really make anybody head back to the mob if they weren't already there. At most, I think it'll just incentivize those who are still there, grinding that stuff out, to continue to do so, or maybe go do it on their alts, right? Because somebody's alts, you know, might not have that stuff, and somebody might really want to put sockets in their alt, I guess. I don't think you should bother at all, but it's good that this has happened. I would then think to myself, why do they always wait so long? I mean, the things that patch 9.0.5 and the hotfixes around it, the things that all of that did, should have been there at launch. You know, it's just like with patch 8.3 all over again, where all of those 8.3 micro updates and hotfixes should have just been there at launch. I do sometimes wonder, do Blizzard release this stuff knowing there's problems and like, I know it's almost conspiratorial, but you know, do they like just wait to see the player numbers dip and then they make their change? It feels bizarre, man. But anyway, there you go. Venary, she's account-wide now. Next up then, and perhaps a partial surprise, we found out earlier this week that the man, a key man anyway, behind bringing classic World of Warcraft to reality, Omar Gonzalez, has left Blizzard. And he's left Blizzard to join Secret Door, which is one of the two studios under Mike Morhaim's new games company, Dreamhaven. Now, Omar's done a lot. Actually, recently at Blizzard, he prototyped a game concept in the Unreal Engine, so that's kind of neat. But he's been there for 18 years. He developed the internal prototype of WoW Classic in the modern client as a proof of concept, and I believe there was a data problem where he basically just locked himself in his office for a while, came back out and had it solved, and that was a massive thing that unblocked the Classic project. So it's the sort of thing where the Classic community absolutely loves the guy, and he's an 18-year Blizzard veteran who jumped ship to Dreamhaven, the game's startup by Blizzard co-founder Mike Morhaim. And Dreamhaven does seem to be snapping up quite a lot of choice talent from Blizzard. I mean, I imagine with Dreamhaven that, you know, look, Mike Morhaim, he's at Blizzard. Things maybe go a bit iffy towards the end. He leaves. I assume then his non-compete expires. He starts competing games company in the same geographic region. I mean, is this Mike just trying to basically have a do-over, one that's free from corporate bullshit? I mean, it feels like that to me. So there you go. It could be sad for the Classic crowd, but at the end of the day, it seems like Omar's a real top-notch guy in what he's doing, and I'm sure he'll do great things at Dreamhaven. And then if you like a little bit of classic WoW content to watch, there is a neat thing where one of the team behind Nostalrius, Nano, has released a video that describes the journey from private server shutting down all the way to the events that actually led up to the official announcement of WoW Classic. So an interesting watch if you're into that sort of thing. All right, the next up, just a little bit of patch 9.1 expectations. So, PTR is going to be next week, so by the time you're watching this, it will probably be a handful of days. So at least from over here, do expect a fair bit of content. It's going to be quite fun. Now, if it goes the way that things normally go, then rating and stuff like that will not be out initially. It will quite likely be an earlier version of the world content. So hopefully we'll be able to bring you Korthia and basically let you know what's going on with the Maw revamp. So perhaps it will end up being a gloomy-looking Timeless Isles, and if it does end up being that, then that would be a good thing. So we'll be diving into that. There will finally be, in the World of Warcraft news cycle, fun things to talk about. There'll be data mining that will likely cover some new lore, so we're all going to just be able to have a great time. Obviously not in-game, but at least we're going to have a bit of a tangible, just a feel of what's actually coming next. Because of course BlizzConline really didn't give us much to go off. The next up, a surprising announcement from Blizzard this week. They're doing a brand new annual Mythic Plus tournament that is completely different to the MDI. So instead of a plus 18 time trial, this new tourney, called The Great Push, will be tasking teams with pushing keys as high as they can. So, like how people actually play the game. Now, this is actually something that Dratnos suggested on his podcast a good while back, so maybe that's where the team got the idea from, and if so, I mean, hey, listen to the community, that's pretty cool. So, look, the MDI, basically, it's not that relatable to how most people actually play the game. At least this is a bit closer, and of course, variety is nice. Now, the downside is the laughable $20,000 prize pool, where the winning team gets $8,000, which is $1,600 per player, which would likely amount to very, very little money per hour based on how much practice MDI teams need to do to actually get to the stage where they can be competitive. But it's Blizzard. They often do try to get away with as low prize pools as they can, which feels pretty different to the likes of, say, Riot Games, who just unzip and prove that they seemingly have a bottomless pit of money whenever it comes to their prize pools. I mean, look, I'll say this. I basically don't care about WoW esports at all. But hey, for those who do, this is a new thing, and that's nice. Then next up in PvP news, Blizzard are trying to meet a long-standing matchmaking problem, but sadly they're not doing anything for the problem that most players are actually feeling with parts of the rated system. So look, this is an issue that becomes far more prominent, has become more prominent with the popularity of Shadowlands PvP. And there's essentially a situation where those at the very top were no longer receiving rating increases when winning, and they were then experiencing very long queue times. Now, this was mostly caused by larger than usual rating inflation, which was down to player uptick, because so many people have joined up with PvP because of the new reward systems and things like that, and perhaps they like the more bursty meta. So, the more people that are queuing, the easier it is for the very best players to gain rating. This in turn incentivized those at the top to simply stop playing and just sit in their rating, which then made it very hard for those ranked immediately below those players to actually, gain rating. Now, the first of two solutions they offer is pretty much in place already, and that is a rating inflation system, and this will basically increase the mean rating of players by roughly 10 points per week. And that essentially acts as a soft rating decay for those who, choose to stop playing early on, since it increases the upper bracket of rating, and so the inactive high-end players will be, overcome by those who are more active. So that's what's going on there. Basically, a decay system in an MMR thing. I mean, that makes sense. Like, the likes of StarCraft 2 have got it, so it's good here. Then secondly, Blizz said they just implement a flat increase to the upper bound of the matchmaking rating system, and that came into effect with this weekly reset. So that should make that situation better for the gladiators out there. Which, of course, is not that many people, right? Obviously, it's a welcome change. It's good for the system. But there's no word on the thing that I think is impacting most people who want to get into PvP. And it's one of the reasons why I'm more interested in doing RBGs than I would be in doing arenas. And that is the big problem with PvP boosting, right? Where there's boosting going on for rating, and that means that when you're just 3 people who are, actually worth a 1,500 rating, you're trying to get better at the game, and then you come up against these boosted, these people who are doing boosting, and then you don't have a great arena experience. And I'd say that's I mean, it's a much larger problem than Raid or Mythic Plus boosting because it's impacting, you know, an official ranking system in a competitive game mode, yet it's something that's just happening. They're not doing anything about it. I don't know how to fix the problem, but what is going on does make it harder for the people who are just trying to engage with the PvP system reasonably, and I really think it's something they've got to fix for the next season. Simple as that, really. There's such a great opportunity with the gearing changes in Shadowlands PvP that it's unfortunate things like this damage the experience a bit. And next up, we've got this week's TBC Classic updates, which actually include new content that was not in the original Burning Crusade, so that's interesting. So what's happened is, well, they've increased the level cap to level 70, that's pretty hype, and you can now queue for arena skirmishes and the Eye of the Storm Battleground. Furthermore, heroic dungeons have been enabled for testing, so that's all pretty cool. Hopefully, though, this will herald, like, an invite wave. I mean, I think that when this stuff is happening, we're just going to need more of a player count on the beta, so hopefully that happens. Then next up, brand new Burning Crusade content, where Blizzard have actually added a new starting quest experience for boosted level 58 characters. Something that's somewhat similar to the end of the new level 1 through 10 questing experience in retail, where, you know, you reach the capital city and you're kind of shown the ropes. So this brand new opening quest chain is going to introduce players to their class trainer. It's going to show them how to learn new abilities and talents. It's going to guide them just like, you know, through the city to the location of the innkeeper, the bank, the guild master, and provide them with a selection of starting gear and some items, including a mount. Now, you're going to start 75% of the way through level 58 with maximum rested experience. That surprised me. I thought it would be raw 58, no rested XP, but there you go. They're giving you rested XP, and they're also giving you a full set of starting gear, which has received, well, some visual upgrades from the default level 1 starting set. So there you go. And the whole thing ends with you meeting either Thrall or Bolvar, who, of course, will send you over to Outland. So, boosts. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of that for TBC. The idea of new content happening in these classic things, I mean, that's interesting to me, and I'll certainly say that given the survey from a while back, where they were talking about changes to Classic, now that Classic is, you know, done with its original run, I have to wonder, would they be more open to stuff like this for Classic Plus? You know, maybe not the boosts, but the idea of just little bits of content here and there that actually fit for the world of Classic. I'd love that. So, yeah, food for thought. And next up, it's money time, because Blizzard are releasing an all-new monthly collectible series called From the Vault. That's going to be highlighting a different character for each month, and they're starting big with Arthas. Which does kind of make me wonder, have they done that knowing that some data mining about Arthas will come out with the 9.1 PTR? I don't know, maybe that's just a conspiracy. But what's not a conspiracy is a huge 2-foot tall statue of Arthas that costs $1,000. And then also a bit of original concept art for him as well. Yeah, $1,000. That said, it is a 2-foot statue. That's pretty chunky. They're going to be doing this monthly till November, and they're going to be making announcements on the second Tuesday of each month of, you know, what's up. This is going to destroy wallets. Because, I mean, I'm even looking at that and I'm thinking, $1,000, that's a lot of money. But what if it's a business expense and it goes in the back of the set and it looks really cool? That would be pretty awesome, especially because I loved Wrath of the Lich King. I don't know. Let me know if you're feeling the pinch in that one. That said, I mean, I wouldn't buy it personally because that's so much money and could go to better places. All right, next up, Quickfire, where we've got good news for Mephisto. You will know him for Warriors and speed leveling, and also his work on autism awareness, and he is doing a streaming event for the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, and that's going on. He's raising a bunch of money, so yeah, go check the dude out over on Twitch. Then another charity thing. We're actually 75% of the way to unlocking Daisy the Sloth, so that's pretty neat. Now, in-game, it is the Burning Crusade time walking right now, and that's of course where the weekly quest to do 5 dungeons will get you an eye level, well, 200 or 207 if you get lucky, bit of Castle Nathria loot, and of course you can then also do Black Temple for item level 200 loot, plus the Warglave's Mog for your Demon Hunters. Then we've got, for the World Boss, Oranimos, the ever whatever. He's our weekly world boss, which we bring up because he does drop the second best Lego for mages, at least one of them. And that's it. Yeah, nothing happened really. So with that being done, if you would like a whole bunch of WoW discussion from our sort of weekly live show podcasty thingy, then you can check out the Bellular Clips channel. And of course, be sure to tune in, likely 7:30 GMT next week on Friday for the live show, because that probably will be our first big live show since the data mining comes out. So it'll be a whole bunch of fun. That's it for me. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.